Cam, Tia, welcome to the show. I am very excited to chat with y'all. I'm very excited to talk about AI and all of the things. I know that y'all have so much packed in for today's episode. Just from talking to y'all before we started recording, I'm like, this is going to be so much. I love it. But yeah, I am pumped too. Give the listeners a little background for y'all, where you're based, what you do, all of the things.
Yes. Thank you, John. We're so excited to be here. So we're Cameron and Tia. We met in second grade and we went to school together all growing up. So we knew each other all throughout there and then finally started dating the end of our senior year of high school. So we're barely high school sweethearts. We make it a thing. We rep it, make it a deal. And then post college, Cam was into photography. He had a camera. I was just dating him at the time. And I was like, hey, make this a business. How about we get an email address, get a logo, seemingly elementary things, but I was pumped about them. You guys, I had no interest in photography. I was not photographing. I was just like, let's make this a business. And did I have a partner? Yeah, I forced myself into that. And so we photographed high school seniors only. So part-time, you guys. And I'm not talking about I feel like there are a lot of photographers that start with seniors. That's low-hanging fruit. And then they're like, I'm doing seniors to get somewhere else. We were not. At the time, we had our own careers. We were just doing our own thing. And then we got engaged and we fell in love with the wedding world. We love. I know people hate when people say that, but it's us. We get pumped about it. And so we were like, let's try to dip our toes in the water. Let's book 3 to 5 weddings. That seems like a good goal. Cam was actually in his last year of law school, so 3 to 5 weddings was very reasonable. And we found out really quickly we are not dip our toes in the water kind of people. We are dive head freaking first. We just go and jump and build wings while going down. And we ended up booking 18 weddings with 0 portfolio. We had never a second shot. You guys, we didn't even have couples images. It was I cannot believe it. But from there, it snowballed. We shot 32 weddings our second year. We both left our full-time jobs. Cam only worked as an attorney for 11 months in there. And then we just went full out. And so Cam and I primarily photograph weddings. We also do education through online courses. We have a shop full of templates and guides. And we do coaching for other photographers. And we're based in snowy, freaking cold Minneapolis, Minnesota. So that is us.
Is it still snowy for y'all right now?
Oh, John, we have about 3 feet of snow piled up in our front yard.
Oh, man.
It's just stuck there. I mean, we've had some, I'm going to say, quote unquote, warmer days. It's 36 and we're like, ooh, it's feeling springy. We'll walk around without a coat, but the snow is still there and we'll be there for a bit, I think.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It is still technically winter. Or wait, is today the first day of spring?
It's the first day.
Chills.
Ooh, yay!
Yes,
chills because you have 3 feet of snow.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love that story, how y'all got started and everything. And I love what you said, Tia, about how y'all weren't doing senior portraits just to I want to get into weddings because that's where the money is, or I want to work to get my way to this. It was we love seniors and this is where we're at right now. And maybe that kind of mirrored where y'all were in life of before y'all got engaged. You were very focused on seniors and taking those photos, which was very similar to where you are. And then got engaged and was now our life is weddings. So wedding planning and all that, getting into that. How for someone, I also booked weddings without a portfolio. Never second shot. I have now, but for the first 5 years, I never second shot. And booked people. How do you think you gained people's trust to hire you for a really important day of their life? Whenever if they were show us your wedding work, and you're we don't have any, but we will take great photos. How did you build that trust for them?
So it was really unique in that Cam and I were kind of romantics, and we obviously knew that second shooting is a great route. So anyone listening here who's building up a portfolio, that's a really easy way to follow a traditional pathway. And it's a great way to get a whole lot of experience and a portfolio. We were like, which one of us would second shoot? Why would we go off with a different wedding and a different wedding when we could shoot one wedding together? Like, oh, we just felt romantic about it. Cam
Mhm.
called us stubborn about it recently, which yeah, that was the vibe too. So we were like, let's just go balls to the walls, let's
Yeah.
go hard and let's figure this out. There are two things that got us trust built and just inquiries. The first is not, again, a strategy that I typically recommend, but I think it's a really unique case study in, hey, figure out what works for you, figure out somewhere you can get traction and go hard in that. Put all your eggs in
Mm.
that basket, or 2/3 of your eggs in that basket. We did Facebook group posts and I got really good at it. We were very cheap, so that is a huge selling point there. But I would get really intense about Facebook posts and I would see everyone commenting, me, with websites listed and websites listed. And instead, I would make a GIF that had some photos that were not wedding photos again, because we didn't have any, but they'd, flip through. So it'd kind of like stop their scroll of like, whoa, here's a
Mhm.
big photo. I would have all kinds of personal connections. I'd go on their Facebook. I'd get a little stalkery and I'd be like, oh, we have mutual friends. Oh, we went to the same college. Oh, I know this person that knows this person. I'd have that in the comments there so that we were just standing out. Because I think Facebook groups is one of those things where, again, not a super powerful strategy in most cases, but it's just, you just need to disrupt a scroll. You just need to stand out
Yes.
in some way. And so we were doing Facebook groups. And I think another piece was our
Yeah,
consults. We
definitely.
got really
Mm.
intentional about powerful consultations where we could go in and we could wow people with the things that we did have, which was organization. We had put a ton of time and energy into figuring out a great client experience when we didn't have
Mhm.
clients, when we
Yep.
had not shot a wedding. And
Yeah.
I think personality.
Yeah.
Personality was a big piece. Do you want to talk on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, also in addition to personality, I just felt like in general we were so intentional. Like we knew it was going to be hard, and people were going
Mm.
to have to find a way to trust us. And I think one big way that we did that was we laid everything out beforehand. Before our very first consult, we knew exactly what we were going to say, how we were going to sell ourselves, and everything. And yeah, we were just intentional. We laid everything out
Mm-hmm.
so that when it came time to do that meeting, they saw us as someone with experience, even though we couldn't actually show that experience.
Yeah, we brought
Yeah.
enthusiasm. We just like tried to pack a punch as much as
Yeah.
possible. And I think that that's a testament to, a lot of people will go into a consultation not yet knowing their client workflow or knowing parts and pieces of it. And that shows through to a
Uh-huh.
client. They don't know what they're looking for. They
Right.
don't know, like, oh, you're missing this, but they know that you're not sure about it. And I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
that
yeah.
that is just automatically yellow flag, red flag, whatever that is for a client.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that preparation is so key. And there have been times, even recently, where I've gone into a consultation and I am not in a good headspace or something, and I can just
Yeah.
feel something is off. Like I am not, I'm not bringing the enthusiasm. I am not like my normal self. And I'm like, I'm probably not going to book this one because of how I went into this, or like coming off of, uh, I always try and set at least 10 minutes or so before any discovery call, consultation, where I can get into the headspace of this is who I'm talking to, do a little bit of research. I am a
Yeah.
huge fan of
Uh-huh.
social media stalking.
Oh, same.
And like I get an inquiry and I'm just like, let me look them up.
Oh,
what are
absolutely.
what do the faces look like? Do it look like fun people? Is
Yes, I
this
have
gonna
no
be,
shame.
yeah, me neither. And I just have to be careful and not like be like, oh, your dog, like, and it's like start talking about things that they have not shared with me. And I promise I'm not stalking you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice um, for newer photographers kind of getting into it, whatever genre you're getting into, is um, prepare before you ever have any clients, and figure out how do you want your client experience to be, how do you want them to feel, and what do you need to do to provide that, and then even write that out. I still have, oh, nope, I don't anymore. Okay. I used to have a list of questions that I asked during a client consultation because I wanted to make sure that I hit on those 5
Mhm.
questions in those 15 minutes. And now I guess it's second nature. I don't have to look over at the
Yeah.
list anymore. But
Yeah.
like that was very important so that I wasn't just like, so how'd you get engaged?
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't know. Small talk.
Yep.
Yes.
And then let me talk about my prices and what I can do for you. So
Yeah, and
that's
not
cool.
to go down a full consultation rabbit hole, but applying the
Hey, we're
preparation
good.
piece, like obviously putting together your client workflow is at the beginning. You need to do this and it needs to not have holes and it needs to
Mhm.
feel seamless. But leveling that up as you become more experienced in consultations, I think you need to even evaluate like what you're saying, how you want them to feel, how you're prepared going into it. And then like who has the power during what part? When are you asking questions? When are you receiving questions? When are you leading them through an experience? And when are you letting them lead you through their lives? And things like that become then the next level of that preparation piece of just taking it up of where's the power and who's taking control of this consultation.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's so good. Okay. I love it. I love that tangent that we
Fun.
just went
Yeah.
off on.
Yeah.
I
And it's
love
like
a tangent.
someone needs that. Someone listening is just like, I didn't
Uh-huh.
know that I needed that, but I need to implement that. So okay. To come back from the tangent. AI.
Yes.
I know this has been a pretty hot topic. A lot of people have been talking about it, and
Mhm.
how
Yep.
I've been hearing a lot of like AI is going to take our jobs and all those kinds of things. Um, I don't believe that. I'm sure that's, y'all are shaking your heads too. You don't believe that, but like, could y'all give a little like description of like what even AI is? How, like, what are some ways that we can incorporate that and be early adopters?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Take us away, Cam.
Oh gosh. I mean, so AI, like on a fundamental level, is a piece of software that is mimicking like a human intelligence. A lot of like the big things we're seeing now with like a chat GPT type thing. It's called a natural
Hmm.
language AI. So it's literally trying to mimic the way humans talk to each other. So when you're interacting with a piece of software, it feels like you're interacting with maybe a person of some sort.
Yeah.
Basically, AI is a tool we can use like to better ourselves and our businesses. It's a way to up level to make things more efficient, easier, faster, better in some fundamental way.
Mm-hmm. And I was initially the resistant person.
Yes.
I was like, Cam, this has nothing to do with me. I don't want to kind of take 2 steps backwards to now I know take 2 steps backwards to take 5 steps forward. But I didn't want
Hmm.
to pause and start researching AI, start playing with tools when Cam was encouraging me. Tell them about
Yeah,
all
well, I feel
that.
like also you're just like some new tech things I am very excited about. Like anytime I can get my hands on some new sort of tech or anything like that, I get fired up.
Yep.
Tia gets a little scared just
Yes.
by default. And that just, I mean, that's
That's
fine.
my
That's her
nature.
personality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
personality type.
But I start like going through our daily routine, our house, things we have. Like anytime she asks Siri to set a timer for her, or when we're driving our car and she has it does autopilot to stay in the lane, or when she just asks Google for navigation routes to get to the place that we're going. Like she is using AI in her life every single day in all of these little ways that she's actually
Hmm.
now grown to just completely rely on and like fully trust. But like that still is a little piece of AI. It's very tailored, it's very small, but it is AI. And so now all we're doing is thinking on a bigger scale. Like
How
what
that
else
can
can we
apply
do?
to our
Like
business.
yeah.
I did not
Yeah.
realize that our entire life literally surrounding me. I look around right now and I'm like, AI, AI, AI. Our shades, we say like we can tell them good night and our shades will all go down. They rise at a sunset or at sunrise time. Like literally I look around our house right now and I'm like, AI is surrounding me everywhere. So why would I not embrace it right now?
Oh
The
yeah.
piece about replacing people's jobs, there are 2 ladies, a Duo Collective. They have a podcast called Duo on Air. And
Hmm.
Abby told us, we were chatting with her, and Abby was like, you know what? It's almost the reverse. And I had this huge mindset shift because she's like, eventually there will be positions that are like AI managers. This will be creating jobs because we'll have an AI manager on our team who is literally facilitating how our marketing is going through AI, how we're creating AI content and copy. And I was like, girl, what? I did not
Yeah.
even think
And
about
like
that. I
in
love it.
reality too, it's not like AI is replacing a creative entrepreneur.
Right.
It's creative
Right.
entrepreneurs who use AI are going to replace creative entrepreneurs who don't.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of us, like, we've grown up with all of these AI apocalyptic
Yes.
movies,
Uh-huh.
like AI,
Yes.
or iRobot or something like that, where it's like, well, this is just the next step, and then
Right.
they're gonna, if they can create artwork, what's next? They're gonna start, taking over the cities.
Yeah.
And I think that can be an initial response
Right.
for a lot of people. and
Definitely.
and for me, I was like, I'm not gonna use AI. Like, what am I gonna use AI for? And yeah, Cam, like you talking about like with like Siri and Alexa and
Yeah.
like Google Home and like all of these things, as well as smart cars and so many smart appliances in the house
Mhm.
now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of
Uh-huh.
AI already in our lives that we just kind of have already adopted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even on
Uh-huh.
our
Yeah.
phones,
Using
we
Face
have
ID to
AI in
unlock your
there.
phone. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's stuff that it's just we've it's second nature now. It's been
Right.
around for a little bit. We don't think of it as artificial intelligence. It's, well, yeah, that's just how I unlock my phone. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
security.
Yeah.
It's, whatever. But yeah, I think that's a really good, like, for anyone who is skeptical of AI, hearing that is like, it's already around you. Like we're already living with a lot of AI. I remember the movie Smart House. Did y'all ever
Yep.
watch
Oh yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Like the
Uh-huh.
Disney
With
Channel.
Disney.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember watching that as a kid and just be like, that would be insane.
Yeah. Same.
Yep.
And now it's like almost everything in that smart
Yeah.
house
Uh-huh.
is stuff that you can have today.
Yes. I need
So
to
yeah,
rewatch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
me too. I saw the kid in that movie. I don't remember his name, but he was in a lot of Disney Channel movies around that time, like Luck of the Irish and stuff. And he was in a commercial recently, and it was something about AI and like smart technology, and I was like,
Funny.
I see what you're doing
Yep.
there,
Yeah.
getting us nostalgic millennials and
I
elder
love
Gen
that.
Zs over
Yep.
there.
Yes.
Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, okay. So what are, you talked about how we can, it's not really that AI is taking over and doing our jobs, but how we
Mhm.
can start using and
mhm.
incorporating AI into our businesses. What are some ways that we could do that?
Yes. Okay, so goal here is that we want to give you guys a ton of ideas to get in and see some applications for you guys' actual business today. So we're going to walk through a bunch of tools, but first the umbrella of this is we really want to promote you to just promote just trying these, just starting to figure
Mhm.
out and just like getting curious with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um Cam loves curiosity. He just absolutely goes crazy for it. Tell them a little bit about that.
Well, so I mean, part of my personality is also I maybe procrastinate a bit or I get distracted sometimes while I'm working. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I'll be working on a big project and halfway through I'm thinking, wow, there's probably a better way to do this out there somewhere, like some sort of tool or software, something that can make this a little easier. And maybe I should just spend an hour instead of working researching, like
Yeah.
that'd probably be
Seeing if it's
productive.
out there.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You never
sir,
know.
what? Come on. Like, we have this nicely laid out
Yep.
batch working
Uh-huh.
schedule, and it's how we operate
Uh-huh.
together when we're on podcasts, when we're taking
Yep.
consults. And I'm
Yep.
like, this has nothing to do with it.
Yes. So now, obviously, we've incorporated that into the batch work. So now I have a day of the week that I have dedicated to researching. So when I'm in the middle of that big project and I start
Nice.
thinking, I bet there's something else out there, I'll just write it down. And I know on Fridays, I have my curiosity hour. I can do my research. I can see what's out there and just like let my mind go where it wants to go. And like just
Mhm.
have fun, like seeing what else new is out there, how I could do my job better, or I could have more fun in my job, like just little things like that that allow me to explore.
And the great thing about it is for any fellow procrastinators out there, or
Yeah,
any people that even have a inkling of like, oh, shoot, I want to figure this out, but I don't have time to figure it out right now. I need to keep making forward progress. He knows that
Yeah.
he can jot that down on a post-it quick, and he's coming back to it on
Mhm.
Friday. So anytime that his mind starts wandering to that, he knows that he has the
Mhm.
time, because I know how it can feel, even when I felt resistant about AI, of like, ugh, I don't want to step backwards when I
Right.
could be making forward progress, when I could
Right.
be responding to clients, and I don't even know if this is going to be fruitful to take steps backwards. And so I think it works really well for that mindset shift of, I know there's the time for that, so that's where I'm going to allocate all those resources. So
Yeah.
that said, get curious. Figure it all out in
Yes.
there.
I love that. And I love that designated time, because whenever you have designated time to do something, you're more intentional about it. and it's
Right.
not like in the back of your mind. Like if
Exactly.
I'm in the
Mhm.
middle of doing something and I'm like, oh, I should look up this, and I go down rabbit holes all the time,
Oh,
where
yes.
especially with like if I have an upcoming trip or something, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I should probably book
Uh-huh.
that flight. Let me see what the flights are. And then I just like
Yeah.
get on there and I'm looking at all the flights and looking at hotels and all this. And then an
Exactly.
hour goes
Uh-huh.
past. I'm like, well, I didn't purchase anything because it said that the price was a little bit high right now. And
Yeah.
instead could even just like jot that down real quick,
Yep.
put it to the side, and have some designated time later to go through these post-its of just like miscellaneous tasks that are just going to pull you out of that, like whenever you're in that really good cycle where it's just like you're locked in
Oh,
and you're
yes.
working, and it's just like I feel like I can just do everything, and you're
Yes.
just working and everything else is gone, but then that one thing pulls you out and then you try and get back
Uh-huh.
in. It's like, I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. I need a snack. I need to get up.
Uh-huh.
And it pulls you out of that creative like
Right.
flow.
Flow state.
So
Yes.
yeah, that flow state. So I love that having designated time for curiosity and designated
Mhm.
time to go Google stuff and search
Yep.
on TikTok for these different things.
Yeah.
And instead of just like, I'm gonna do that now, and then coming back and not getting your work done.
Right.
Yes.
So
Right.
Or the
love
reverse.
that.
Today, if
Yeah.
we go through a bunch of tools and then you're like, okay,
Uh-huh.
cool, what am I going to do with this? There needs to be time allocated for you to start
Yeah.
implementing these. Otherwise, you hear this on a
Yes.
podcast, and I do this often on a podcast. I listen on drives, I listen in the shower, and then
Mhm.
unfortunately, I'm not taking action because I'm not putting those into a to do list, into my Asana of, hey, this needs to be on my Friday during my curiosity
Mhm.
hour. So that's when all the listeners are listening today of like, oh my gosh, this is so much. How am I going to implement this in my business? How am I going to even explore the tool? Put that in a compartment, put that in that time frame so that you can actually start getting into these tools.
Yeah.
So sorry, I
Okay.
took a side note. I did
Yeah,
not
you did.
answer what
No, you
tools
did
we were
not.
doing, but now let me
No,
tell you
that's
some
good.
tools.
No, that was so important. Like I am definitely taking that. I am gonna have
Yes.
my curiosity hour every week, because I feel like I can even do that. I've got 3 kids. There's only certain hours that
Right.
I can work from home, being the
Yes.
primary
Mhm.
parent,
Yep.
and I do not need to be filling that with, curiosity and searching online. But I can sit there while they're coloring or
Yes.
playing in the
Mhm.
backyard, and I can sit there while I'm pushing them on a swing or something and just have that curiosity hour.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
okay,
I love it.
cool, awesome, me too.
Tangent.
Yep. Tangent. Tangent.
Yes,
Tangents all over.
yes.
So tools. Okay,
Tools.
so first and foremost, ChatGPT. Um, I currently think ChatGPT is where it's at. The biggest reason being
Yes.
is that it is currently not behind a paywall. So a lot of these tools will have a paywall at some tier or will likely in the future have a paywall. They're just too powerful not to have something coming down the
Well, too
road.
expensive to run, honestly.
Yes. So
Yeah.
ChatGPT, the biggest thing is right now, if you go to ChatGPT, it will often say that you cannot get in, it's at capacity. What we recommend
Mhm.
there is literally refreshing. And this sounds so dumb, but Cam told me, and I like went on ChatGPT and I'm like, hold up, what is happening here? It's at capacity. I thought that meant that I would not be able to get into the application until I don't know,
Mhm.
someone tapped out or something.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in a lot of times, yeah, it will work when you refresh or when you X out. You can literally now go to AI.com
Yep. Yeah, they
and
bought
your
AI.com.
sorry, what'd you say?
They bought
Yeah, they bought
AI.com.
AI.com. That's how powerful it's getting,
Okay.
y'all.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll get access. Yes. So here's what I recommend. With a
Okay.
lot of these tools we're going to talk about, ideation and first drafts are where it's at.
Mm.
I would even go so crazy to say sometimes I am getting final drafts from ChatGPT. So what I recommend is the way that we can apply this is blog posts. For example, John's putting out a podcast. He needs show notes. He maybe has a blog post that goes with it. He has descriptions that go in the podcast. For photographers listening, you have, your client blog posts. You might have tips about engagement session locations. You might have things about what to wear on an engagement session, how to plan your timeline, how to do sunset photos, anything like that. And I recommend getting into ChatGPT and you can have a conversation with it. So I'm going to start and I'm going to say, hey, ChatGPT, I like to talk to it conversationally. You obviously do not need to do that. I'll be like, hey, what's up? But I'll
Hey,
say, give me
friend.
a blog post. Literally,
Yeah, thank
John,
you, please.
you have seen my log on ChatGPT. So I'll log on. Hey, friend, give me a blog post of 300 plus words explaining engagement session that I had with Blake and John. And it was super fun. We had awesome weather and it was at Boom Island Park. And it'll go boom, 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 and it'll populate a 300 word blog post. Now, don't stop there. The key with these tools is to probe and to give them more information and to just go deeper and deeper with it. So there I'll then say, okay, well, can you give it to me in more of a fun, flirty, joyful tone, which is our brand? And then it'll give me, it'll add that all on there. It'll redo it. And then I'll say, okay, can you add a paragraph about this specific thing that happened? So maybe they brought their dog Frito and Frito was like running around like crazy and I want to add that in their blog post. And I'll just continue probing and probing and probing until it produces something that I love.
Yeah. I think also
Okay.
like in the same sense of probing, like you need to prompt it like crazy. Like you need to
Yes.
tell it exactly what you want it to do. And sometimes like that does take a lot of work, but as you get like a little more curious, as you start like exploring the software, finding its limitations, that you start learning exactly the things you need to tell it to do to produce the results that you want.
Mm-hmm. And so the reverse of that, so there's our like first draft. There's it just like creating content for us. I will also use it for ideation. And I think this is way powerful. So those that don't have a partner in their business, which is going to be a lot of us that are solopreneurs, you're going at this alone. ChatGPT, it becomes your friend and it will give you so much ideation content. And again, it might not give you a winner, but it's going to give you a list of like, let's say I'm creating we do YouTube weekly. So I'm creating a YouTube and I need a title. I'm going to just input the paragraph description, or I'm going to maybe input my script if I had bullet points, anything like that. And I'm going to say, give me 10 titles that have a, let's say, super funny tone to them. I want some puns in there. Make sure that it's super clickable and will generate a ton of traffic for me. ChatGPT is then able to, scrape the entire internet and it's able to produce 10 titles for me. I might not love them. I do a lot of punny stuff on ChatGPT because I think that kind of aligns with parts of our brand. Some of the puns are god awful. They're so bad. But would I have thought of those? No. And so it's allowing me to then piece together like, oh, the beginning of this title and the end of this, I love that. Let's just put those together. Perfect. There's my title. It's clickable. It knows that it's going to get some high traffic. It's maybe a little clickbaity. I'm feeling it. I'm into it. And it's just really helping us generate and being that partner or third party in so many ways. What's that Tom thing?
Yes, I heard this. I can't remember from who, but they said AI is basically it's a Tom. It's a totally obedient moron. So they will do exactly what you ask them to do, but they have no idea what they're actually doing. So and that gets back to the prompting. Like you need to like sit down and spell out exactly like this title is going to be talking about this type of video. It needs to be clickable. It needs these things. Like so you need to have sometimes like a full paragraph prompt just to tell it what you want to do. But the more specific you can get, the more tailored, the better the result will be.
Mm-hmm. Along that, you can also tell them what you want them to be, which I've seen great success with. So I'll tell them I don't know. I'm unsure. I'll tell my friend ChatGPT, and I'll be like, you are an experienced photographer that shoots fine art film and you've been shooting for 10 years. Now, write me a blog post on blah, 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 blah. And then it knows what it's searching and it knows what to kind of grab and scrape the internet for to act as that. And I see as a lot of success in like giving it a persona. With us, we're creating new products for photographers and I'm able to tell them what they're acting as. It can give me a title for a product. It can give me the sales copy. It can give me bullet points to put on a description on Shopify, all the things. I just need to really treat it as though it's a Tom and give it as much information to act as something to really spit out those results that are going to be super powerful for us.
Yeah, and beyond all that too, it can also do little things like it can write like little snippets of like code for you, which is just insane. We recently released a product. It was like it's a timeline wizard. you enter in your sunset time and it like calculate your whole timeline for you, and you can do these overrides and all
Nice.
this stuff. It's really cool. But I got like maybe like 96% of the way there, and I'm like, this is so good. But there are these use cases, very rare, but there are use cases that are there that just doesn't quite work with this. How can I get this to work? I googled for like a month trying to figure it out. Eventually, like when we start getting into ChatGPT, I started asking it like, how would you program Excel to do these things? And then I got more specific and more specific and more specific, and eventually it gave me literally lines of code. It gave me macros, it gave me lines of code that I could just add in, literally copy and paste, and
Yeah.
I tweaked maybe like one line, but otherwise perfect
Nice.
fit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you have a like a mentor or someone who is proficient in whatever you're asking for, but they don't actually know what you're asking
Yep.
for yet.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like you
Uh-huh.
have like a line of different people, and you're just like asking someone, you know, my door's creaking. What do I need to fix this?
Yes.
And they're like,
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a coder, but let me talk to all of these people, and then you finally get to
Uh-huh.
the right one, and then you can like narrow it down, give more descriptions and all of that to really define, like, you know, going to the doctor or something. You've got your primary physician is just like, I don't know, you sick, whatever. And that's how my doctor talks, apparently. And I don't know, you sick. And and then you have your specialists. And like I feel like giving like your initial, from what I'm hearing from y'all, your initial interaction and like, hey friend, hey chat, hey Tom, here's what I'm looking for, and then it is just like, here's stuff, and then you can be like, cool, here's a little bit more description of what it is, and almost like kind of going back and forth with them, figuring out what exactly the end product is going to be, instead of just like I could see a lot of people just going there and being like, "Hey, give me, you know, 10 podcast topics that photographers would like," and then you get that, and you're like, this is fine, but it's
Uh-huh.
not anything that I wouldn't have come up with." So then you
Yep.
leave it. But like diving deeper and asking those follow up questions and really defining what it is you're looking for, which I know for me, like I would probably come to what I'm looking for by having that conversation with ChatGPT, where I'm like, I don't actually know where I'm going with this, but this is where I'm
Right.
starting. And then through the back and forth, I'm finding, oh, this would actually be a really helpful, you know, product for photographers. So
Uh-huh.
Yes.
thanks ChatGPT. I wouldn't have like,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
it would have taken me a long time to figure this out on my own, but you can just like bounce it off of someone who has the entire internet at their fingertips,
Right. Uh-huh.
or whatever tips they do have. Uh, they're they're ones and zeros, to just
Yeah.
scan through everything for you. So
Uh-huh.
that's
Exactly.
Yeah, and I love
yeah.
that analogy too, like the generalist versus specialist too, because like not only is
Mm,
that great inside of ChatGPT, but like outside it
mm,
as well.
mhm.
Like you'll start learning as you like explore more with ChatGPT. There are some things it can do really well. There are some things it's not so great at. But now there are all these, and like with this, almost feels like a revolution in AI that's coming, and just
Yeah.
like all
Oh
these
yeah.
new tools that are only designed to do this one little tiny thing, but do it so well. And I feel like I don't know, you have some other tools you
Yeah.
want to talk about, and a lot of those are going like
Our
start to become
specialists.
more tailored, and they are the specialists that once ChatGPT can't quite do all these things, or it's not quite getting your tone right,
Yeah.
like these are the
Mhm.
tools that will hit
Yeah.
it.
So I think
Okay.
ChatGPT is a great place for everyone to start
Yep.
because I love it because I can do everything on there. I can do, if I'm putting together a blog post, it can put together the blog post for me. It can put together my meta description. It can put together my title. It can put together my slug, everything. But like Cam was alluding to, there are a lot of specialists. One thing that I think is going to be really great for your audience, John, is an app called Descript. And Descript is a video editing platform at its basis. But I'm going to explain a few applications of it. And what happens is I can create a video, and let's say I'm creating a video for my clients. So I am wanting it to be an onboarding video, and I just want to welcome them, and I want to say, hey, awesome, I'm so excited. I want to make that personal touch point. We've had a consult that went great, but now I want to take it to the next level. I don't want to just send them an
Mhm.
email. So I make this onboarding video. I upload it into Descript, and then Descript spits out an entire script. So it is insane. It's like translation properties are great. They are honestly phenomenal. You will have to edit a few things here and there, but it's phenomenal. But then what's amazing about Descript is it has the script side by side, and I can literally highlight a sentence, press delete, it removes that from the video. I can toggle on, remove ums or remove pauses, gets rid of them from the video. So it is editing side by side with the script. And then where that can be really powerful is obviously that makes editing videos so speedy, saving time that you were alluding to. Oh my goodness. Like I cannot imagine just being able to look at the script and just being able to remove sentences.
I mean, honestly, the transcript generation by itself is pretty handy.
Is very handy. Maybe you want to create short form video from that.
Yeah.
You can actually do that on Descript. You can crop it to be a short form video. It has what's called dynamic text. So you see that in a lot of like podcasters that then put their podcast episodes on short form video. It does dynamic text for you. It has tons of fun options there. Honestly, dynamic text is one of, I think, 8 different options that it has that adds like blobs or different fonts or whatever that is to make it fun. So there's that application. Going back to the client application, I make this onboarding video, and I would typically record an onboarding video for every client. I want that to be personalized. I want that to be a touch point. I want to say their name. I maybe want to reference something that we chatted this morning versus this afternoon. Instead, in Descript, I can change words. So instead of saying, hey, Hannah, I can now say, hey, Blake, and I can replace it and have it be Blake, and it will use its AI properties to have me saying Blake. Now, can I do full sentences? No. It will get wonky. It can't have that capability right now. But things like swapping, thanks for the great consult this morning or this afternoon, I can just swap and I can add that personalized touch point over and over and over. I reuse that video every time. I'm not having to be camera ready, do my hair, do my makeup, get my lighting, get my setup every single time I want an onboarding video. I record it once and I can just have that touch point over and over and over. And so when you start thinking about those potential for unique touch points with your clients, like that is astronomical. I think that's so fun.
Also, like, you make a little mistake when you're recording. You do a whole 2-minute take straight to camera, and you realize I just used the absolute wrong tense in the middle of this. Or I used the wrong word. Like that doesn't actually mean anything. I just needed to say this word instead of that. And now I have to re-record the whole thing. Well, no, with this, you just go in, you find in the place of the transcript, you delete and replace with the word you meant to say. And then you're good to go.
Exactly. So cool.
So is this just like matching your tone and voice and changing the audio, or does this change the video as well? To where, like, if you say "Hi, Hannah," that's gonna look differently than, like, it's gonna look like you're like dubbing over if it's like Blake and your mouth is doing Hannah.
So it changes the video, I would say, slightly. Like, I think when you start getting crazy, like if it was "Hi, Hannah," and then you're going to "Hi," something long. Like Cameron Goff, my husband. Like you're trying to switch it to something like that, and it's not going to work well for you. But little switches like "Good morning," "Good afternoon," easy, done. It's doing both your text, but more so it's doing the video.
Yeah, and really, you're only going to find it if you are at this point it was changed. Let me watch the lips and see, and then maybe you can tell.
And even then, like, let's go down a hypothetical. The client is looking for the name to be swapped because they're an AI specialist somewhere in their world. It still has the personal touch point. They still know that you put the effort in to switch the name. That's the far scope hypothetical. Regardless, it looks pretty good in most cases.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. I was like, I would love to do that, but I don't want it to look like, dubbing over from like, one of the like a Japanese like action film to where they're just like all the voice is not matching the lips. So okay, that's very cool.
And it's also the first year of the product too. So like
so it's only going to get better.
Yeah, for sure. Another fun one I wanted to tell you about is something called Mini Chat. And Mini Chat is basically an automated bot. Now freeze, don't get stressed, because it is an automated bot in your Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger. It can also do SMS. And I know when I say like automated bot on Instagram, people are like, nah, Tia, I'm not into that. That you get like fake follower vibes and that kind of thing. But I think you're going to be really excited about this. What it is, and some people might have seen this, some large marketers are really using this like hard right now because I think it's very powerful and it has really fun implications. What happens is I post Instagram reel, and in the Instagram reel, I tell all of my friends and followers, hey, comment, learn more. And then if they learn more, I'll be able to get them a guide that I was alluding to. And so from there, learn more, they comment it, I automatically pop up in their DMs, and I'm able to put together this whole flow behind the scenes where I'm creating a really authentic feeling conversation. And so it automatically sends them, ManyChat sends them a question of me just chatting, and I can personalize it with emojis, have it feel really native. And it says, hey, I'm so excited that you want this guide. What's your first name? They put their first name. I'm then able to say, awesome, this is so exciting. What's your email? They opt in for this freebie, and then I'm able to send them that directly. So it's not taking people outside of the platform. For example, like where people in this case might be opting in for a freebie, it's not taking them outside there. It's happening right in the DMs. A really applicable, I can see a lot of use cases for this, but a really applicable use case is answering frequently asked questions from your clients, from future clients. If you're someone who maybe sends an initial pricing guide or sends a booking link for consultations, if they're commenting a certain word, you can, or a certain word and all of its variations that you enter in ManyChat, you can get them that information right away. And one more thing to like, I don't know, emphasize with the bot element of it. When we've been testing this out, what we find is this opens the door for so much more communication. It gets people things that they need. It gets people things that they need right now. But then it allows us to be able to have these really organic conversations after that because we've already opened the door. We're able to say, okay, awesome. Do you have more questions? Or let's chat about that more. And so if you have future clients reaching out to get pricing or to get this booking calendar link, you're able to then follow up with them. I mean, it could be automated through ManyChat or following up with them naturally. And it just has a lot of power to it.
Well, it's like a whole basic like welcome funnel in our DMs that now they're also getting to know us a little bit better and feel like they're already talking with us. And so like that next step, or like maybe that barrier to like actually reach out to us in DMs is already broken.
Exactly.
And so it's so much easier than to like see a thread and be like, oh, I already talked to them basically, so let me just continue this conversation.
Absolutely. And it's powerful. You can have, like I was saying, text, emojis, but you can have voice memos, you can have videos that are all just in this flow. And you were alluding to this earlier, John. So I was so excited to tell you about ManyChat because I heard the founder talking about ManyChat, and they said ManyChat is basically your best employee ever. They don't take vacation. They are always on. They have instant replies. I'm like, oh, girl, I love that. That it's just so powerful if you have this employee on your team now who is just getting after it. And I think we so often talk about inquiries with wedding clients of who answers it first is really powerful. But work-life balance, can we have like a life in between here? Well, now ManyChat can do that work for you. And so I think there's just some really fun, engaging stuff. If you guys as listeners are interested whatsoever, we have just like an example funnel where you guys can hop on over to @Cameron and Tia, our Instagram, and you can just DM us chat, CHAT, and it'll just walk you through a sample so that you can get a feel for it. It has kind of all of the different types in there where you can see a voice memo, you can see a video, and get a good feel for like, oh, this is what it's about. I'm gonna be honest, when I started seeing people use ManyChat, I opted into so many things because I just want to see it. Like, it's fun from a consumer,
like even knowing what's happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. I just like love it, and I think it's so engaging. It's so fun. It's so fresh.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna head over to your DMs right after this.
Yes.
It's like I love that. I love automations,
right?
Because it gives you freedom to really focus on what you want to focus on. Exactly. And a lot of automations can seem very bot-ish and very like cold and not your personality. Like, y'all are super like fun and lively, so in the DMs you don't want something that's just like, thank you so much for inquiring. and that kind of bot, which is, like you said, like maybe the listener's initial thought of an Instagram bot. But yeah, no, that sounds so great, because like this last week was spring break and I had a lot of DMs that I just didn't get to right away because I'm spending a lot more time with the family and got the kids home all week, and even some had our nephew for a few days too. So it was like
Yeah.
4 kids here.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was a lot, but we had a fun time. And but because of that, like I wasn't able to personally be there as much. And yeah, I love that idea of this is pretty much like a very virtual assistant
Yes.
that is there 24/7 to answer these questions. And I love the funnel idea because I've
Yeah.
used like Instagram has where you can set up your frequently asked
Yep.
questions to where if someone's like, hey, what's your pricing, and then it will send that question back,
Exactly.
or an answer back to them, but there's no funnel. So it
Right.
sends them that answer, and then if they're like, oh, okay, what about for a destination wedding, and then it's just like it's just going to sit here until I do something. But
Right.
having a funnel to where it can send, and I love the voice memos because I do that a ton on
Yes.
Instagram,
Yes.
because it's just it's endearing. It's
Exactly.
much more connection whenever there's a voice memo, and even if it's automated, they don't know that. And even if they are like, this is probably automated,
It's still fun.
it's still it's still like, oh well, they put the time and effort into recording this for me, having an automation set up to where it sends me this valuable information even whenever they're busy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly.
I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, it's super fun. Like Cam was saying, I knew that once I figured out what was happening, 90% of the things I was opting in for, I knew it was a
Yeah.
funnel, but it's really engaging. And like you were saying with
Oh
the
yeah.
automated responses, you
Hmm.
can program it to have can't think what they're called, like pre-selected
Basically a multiple
options,
choice of
multiple
sorts.
choice for them to reply.
Like choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is when you set it up on the back end, it's kind of like choose your own adventure because it has all this
Yeah.
flow to the funnel.
Flow chart. Yeah.
Yes. And so like you're saying about what about destination sessions or what about a destination wedding? What would the pricing look like? You can program that. And then what I think is really powerful is you're teaching people how to communicate with you. And I think that's always so important. You're teaching people how to talk about you. You're teaching people how to communicate with you. And in this, you are literally giving them the options, which not only has that power to it, but it also makes it super easy and accessible for them. It doesn't feel like, okay, well, they sent me this video. Do I have to send a video back? No, because look, there's just these options I choose from. Tap, done. I continue the conversation. And so when getting to know a potential client, so often, like let's say with the automated responses on Instagram, you send back whatever answer. And that's like, okay, conversation is kind of done. Even if you are there actively, it's like, what else do we do here? But this is facilitating getting to know you getting to know them. And it has this back and forth that doesn't feel transactional and it feels really transformational.
Okay. Yeah. I love that because it is so different than the bots that maybe we've interacted with in the past.
Yeah.
And that is just like it's creating a great experience for your clients and potential clients instead of just like, oh, I'm not here, so let's put up this, this annoying bot that's always just like popping up and like, hey, do you need any help?
Yeah.
And like that person in like the department store that's always
Uh-huh.
just like over your shoulder. Do you need any? What are you looking for? Do you need any help? Would you like me to try that on for you? I'm like,
Yes.
I'm just trying to look around, man.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay. This is awesome. Just those that y'all talked about is like, I can see how that is going to be a game changer uh, for so many businesses and
Yes.
give you more freedom to work on the things that you really want to work on and not all of the kind of the mundane tasks of
Right.
figuring out, all the ideation and, all that with how you're going to show up for your clients and all that, which and y'all have a link for the
Yes.
listeners, correct? With
Yeah.
all these different things.
Yep.
Okay.
So like John was saying, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And it feels like every day something new is coming out, a brand new app, a brand new site or revisions. And we really want to encourage the listeners, like these 3 that we talked about are fun. They're super engaging. If something resonated with you, check them out. If you want to see more, we have a link, CameronandTia.com/WIT, WITT. And we
Sweet.
have so many different programs on there that you can just check out. wait till your curiosity hour and then get on there, click through them, explore them. They all have some sort of free version where you can explore, or like a free tier where you can really see if this is something that makes sense. And then again, some are free completely. And you can try a whole lot of different tools. We have some SEO tools. We have some image generation tools. We have obviously some editing tools, as I know a lot of photographers are hearing about. But you can just get in there and really explore.
Okay. That's awesome. You sent over that link and I was like, I'm gonna go check out all of these things.
Yes, good.
So
do it.
yeah, I encourage you as well, listener, to go check that out, cameronandtia.com/wit. And I'll have that in the show notes as well. So you can just scroll on down and click on that. Go do your curiosity hour.
Get after it.
But yeah, awesome. Well, Cam, Tia, this has been so great. Really great getting to chat with y'all again. We didn't even talk about how we met.
Yes.
But yeah, we met at a conference, I don't know, like 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. That's already been half a year. But yeah, like immediately I was like, okay, these are my people. They y'all are fun, and I'm just very very glad that we were able to have this conversation today and all that. But before we wrap up, before we go, I do want to talk about what we're loving this week. So if there's anything that y'all are loving, a movie, TV show, whatever, what are y'all loving this week?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll start. Mine.
Okay.
Whenever I think of things like this, it always revolves around TV and movies. That's just like a big
Same.
part of who I am and what I'm doing in my free time or while I'm editing or something like that. So one, I just finished. We were on vacation for a while, got back, finally finished The Last of Us. Absolutely loved it.
So good.
Yes. One other show. T and I are watching Shrinking.
That was gonna be mine.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well,
No,
you can take
that's
over
okay.
now.
Yeah. We're watching Shrinking. I hadn't really heard a lot about it. It's on Apple TV. It's Jason Segel, and just like I love the cast. I'm not a huge like, I know this actor, I know this actress person.
I mean, Harrison Ford.
Okay, yeah.
Big.
Probably mentioned that. But it's funny. It's engaging. It's Jason Segel is just fire in it. Like, I think he's so funny, and it's like kind of a quirky show. It is on Apple TV, which leads me into if anyone out there is not a Ted Lasso fan yet, Ted Lasso is on Apple TV also, so you might as well get it so you can watch both these shows. And Ted Lasso third season just started last week.
I was gonna say,
Lasso fan?
I'm a Ted Lasso fan.
Oh, phew. Okay, good.
Yeah. And I've been seeing, like, they've been doing so much TikTok marketing for season 3. And I'm just like, oh, I need to set aside, like, we need to start planning our evenings to where we watch Ted Lasso together. And,
so you haven't seen the premiere yet?
I have not seen the premiere yet, no.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's great. It's great. If people are, like, waiting on Ted Lasso, for example, Cam's sister, we kept telling her, watch Ted Lasso, and they just kept, you get recommendations, and you're like, is this really for me?
I don't know. It's about soccer.
Everybody, all the listeners, stop right now. Watch Ted Lasso. I think it is a show for everyone. It is heartwarming. Yes. You will cry. You will laugh. You will get so attached to the characters. Just 10 out of 10. Cam's sister watched it. And she's like, why didn't you tell me this was so good? And I was like, girl, I did. And then they just flew through 2 seasons in a couple of days. So there is your promo. Watch it.
It's because it's like it's a 30-minute comedy series. Yeah. So it's so easy to binge where you're just like, oh, I'll just watch another one. And then 30 minutes goes by. And the storylines are great, and it's very wholesome and fun and so good, like moral stories in there too, that I'm just like, okay. I wasn't expecting that from this kind of a show. And it's
30 minutes,
so great.
But you will cry and you will full out laugh every episode.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. And Rebecca and Keely's relationship is just, it's my favorite. Fun. They're so good. Which I recently saw a movie with the actress who plays Keely, and I think she was like 16, or at least she was playing a 16-year-old.
Interesting.
It's an older movie, came out like maybe 2012 or so.
Oh.
And Jared Leto's the lead. It's called Mr. Nobody.
Okay.
Which I believe is also on Apple TV. and it's on Prime Video too.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's very interesting. It follows his whole life from like childhood to I think he's like 118 or something at the end of the movie,
Interesting.
and a bunch of flashbacks and stuff, and just like follows like if he had made this choice, what would his
Yeah.
life had
Okay.
looked like,
Yeah.
and it was really good. And the girl that played one of his high school girlfriends,
Okay.
I was like, she looks so familiar. Who
Yes.
is she? And it was Keely, and she looks so different.
Wow.
No, I
But
can't imagine
yeah,
Keely being in something else, or the actress
oh,
that
I
plays
know,
Keely. Like she's
I
gotta
know,
be Keely. Like I don't
yeah.
know.
No, she does not look like Keely, like at all. Like I was
Interesting.
like, oh wait, that's her. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Funny.
but yeah, Mr. Nobody, if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
But okay, sweet. I love all of that. I need to start the oh, what was the one that you were just talking about? Not Ted Lasso, not The Last of
Shrinking.
Us. Shrinking.
Yes.
Yes. I've heard so many good things about Shrinking.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
need to get started on that one. So mine is also a show. So listeners, y'all are
Nice.
getting all the show
Yes.
recommendations today. It is called His Dark Materials,
Yeah.
and is really great. Last time I talked to y'all, I had just started the third season. I have since finished the third season,
Woo!
and yeah, it is a ride. But yeah, it's a really fun, fantastical
Yep.
journey based on a book series, and yeah, it's really really interesting world. And some good storylines too. So yeah, I really
Love
like
it.
that one.
Wait,
Yeah.
I forget. Have you had
Yes. And I
okay?
love it.
Had you
Yeah.
seen it prior
Yeah.
to John's Wreck?
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen season 3. I
Got it.
watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wasn't caught up, but
You converted
I
Cam to
have.
catching up.
Yep.
Nice. Well, cool. Well, yeah, and that's on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
we got recommendations across all the
Uh-huh.
platforms for you.
Yes.
So whatever
Everyone
you
just
got.
sit around and watch TV now.
Yep.
Yes, that is our life. Well, cool. Cameron, Tia, where can people find you? Where can they follow along? See
Yes.
your photography as well as all your educational things.
Yep. You can find us everywhere at Cameron and Tia. So it's Cam's name, Cameron, and And, and then my name, Tia, Tia.
Perfect. There we go.
Love it. Period.
Cool. Period. .com.
Including .com.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, cool. I'll have links to everything in the show notes for everyone so they can go connect with y'all on all the social platforms, and yeah. Well, thank you
it.
so much
Thank you,
for
John.
being my guests today. This was so much fun, and I am excited to go to go DM y'all, chat, and just see that whole AI
Uh-huh.
funnel. But yeah, just checking out all of these the ones that y'all talked about, as well as like y'all had so many on that
Yeah.
list at cameronandtia.com/wit, where I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be maybe a couple of curiosity hours.
Yes.
But
Definitely.
Definitely.
but yeah. Well, again, thanks so much. It's great to chat with y'all again.
Yes.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank
John.
you.